One thing I knew, because this is when I became a knowledge, seeker. Like, I was really seeking him, but I was also seeking like how to be successful, like feeding myself like great podcasts, listening to like Tony Gaskins, RC Blake's, like really just pouring into me and really getting a new level of understanding of life in general.
Taking your process seriously.
Yeah, taking the process seriously, taking my life seriously. That's where the key was. It wasn't instant.
Okay.
Because some people, you think you invest and you think you're going to get it right back. It wasn't instant. It wasn't even tangible of the blessing wasn't even tangible of what I got back. What I got back was more purpose. What I got back was community. What I got back was more opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, that was what came out of it too. So I was ready to invest, and I didn't let nothing stop me. And showing up, not making any excuses for yourself.
Being present.
I may be nervous, I may be scared, I may be, but I'm going to continue to do it. And so just one foot in front of the other, still showing up, still taking yourself seriously, taking the craft seriously. I think that breeds something in you as far as like what is needed to continue out this journey, because that actually never stops.
Pop out in it all black, pull up looking like the Chalo.
Hey y'all, what's good? My name is Tyrell. I'm the host of Perspective. Now you might be asking, like, what is Perspective? What is this all about? Well, Perspective is a space where you and I take life-changing principles, apply them to our daily lives to transform the world around us. And so I get an opportunity to be able to release amazing content around helping you expand your perspective, adding tools to your toolbox, breaking the box of limitations that you and I were born into. And so my hope is by you engaging, you connecting with Perspective, you're able to go out and transform the world around you. Any highlights of the day? Anything stood out? Or like, really? Did this happen today? Like anything like that?
Listen, my day started off really fast actually, because I had a callback for a commercial, and I needed a chicken tender because it was for a chicken restaurant. And believe it or not, there are no chicken restaurants open before 10 a.m. And my callback is at 10:15. So I was going to do my callback at work in the meeting space. I had to be at work at 10, callback's at 10:15, and I need to find a piece of chicken. And so I'm like driving to work, and I don't know why I didn't think anything would be open the night before, because I could have just did it the night before. But Cane's was closed. Wingstop was closed. Chick-fil-A, they only serving breakfast. So I was like, what am I gonna do? So I'm like on my way to work, and I'm like, you know what? Whataburger. Shout out to Whataburger. They came in clutch. Yeah.
Whataburger, yeah, because they be 24 hours, right?
24 hours. So I got me my chicken 3-strip, and was able to do my callback.
Wow. So you got a call back, and you just had to act. Not act as in like acting, but you just had to go figure that out. Yeah,
I just had to figure that out. Like, I had to figure out to make sure that I had what I needed for the callback, because it was for Golden Chick. It's for commercial for Golden Chick.
Wow.
And so I've already submitted the audition. The callback is the second round of auditions, and they expect you to do the same actions you did in your first audition in the callback. So, and what's crazy is my callback's at 10:15. They had me waiting until like 10:42 before I actually got on camera. It'd be like that though. Like, you're rushing, you're trying to be on time, you're trying to be punctual, and then like casting is like on a whole different type of time than you.
And evidently Perspective setup is on a different time as well.
Right.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
But that's wild, and that makes sense. You get an opportunity in a call, you got to just be ready.
You do.
Ready to act.
You do.
What's good, Perspective fam? Look, this is Tyrell. Perspective is a place where you and I take life-changing perspective to transform the world around you. Our guest today is a rising talent in the entertainment industry, seamlessly transitioning from the world of modeling to acting. With an eye for detail and a passion for storytelling, this young lady has discovered a newfound love for performance that has lighted a thrilling journey in film. Eager to explore diverse roles and expand her artistic range, she brings a fresh perspective and infectious enthusiasm to every project. As she continues to hone her craft, this young lady is excited to share her gifts with the world and leave a lasting mark on the screen. Shout out to IMDb.
I love
Because your boy
that.
didn't write that.
I really love
although
that.
I probably could have written it. I'm not taking the time. Well, y'all help me welcome, without further ado, Mashayla Barnes. What's good, Mashayla?
Hello. Thank you.
What's
Thank you
up?
for such an intro.
Absolutely, yes. It's probably honestly a little dated, y'all. There's probably even more. We'll let her share that. But yeah, thanks for pulling up
Yeah.
and hanging out. We finally made it.
Finally made it. Man, our schedules and just the busyness of life to get here to this moment is the grace of God.
The grace.
The grace.
All the grace.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, diving into a bit of just like what your world is for those of you who may not be familiar with Mashayla, very gifted, as we said in her intro, but very authentic as well. I think it's very rare you come across individuals that are very aware of their abilities, their talents, their gifts, but also be very, authentic and real and genuine. And that's what's great about you. I think it also comes across with those who you work with behind the scenes and on screen as well. So I think that's definitely to your benefit. But talk to us a little bit about your background, like where you're from, where you grew up, and then take us into where did the interest in modeling begin? So
Right.
take us from where you grew up and all that.
Absolutely. It's been a journey. So born in South Bend, Indiana, but raised here in Texas. I think we moved to Texas when I was like 6 years old. Been in Texas over like 18 years now. So Texas is definitely the place has shaped me completely. And, raised in the church. Faith has always been a foundation with me and my family. I come from a big family, 4 sisters. We all, raised together here in Texas, attending church, Potter's House North, as you know.
Shout out.
I think this is back
OGs.
when church was at the Dallas Hockey Arena.
Yes, the Dallas, where the Dallas Stars
Exactly.
play.
So that's where
Dr.
church
Pepper
was.
Arena.
Dr. Pepper Arena. That's where it was. And we were leaving church one day, and 2 wonderful ladies stopped us while we were walking in the parking garage. And that was Cyndi. Shout out to Cyndi. She's a photographer. And Jay, she was the makeup artist. They had seen me and they asked me, hey, do you model? And I have never, ever thought about modeling. I was young, just like in my own little world, not really thinking, of gifts and things that, I could really do, So they seen me, and that question and that connection planted the first seed of how I started modeling, because that's where my first shoot came from.
Wow.
That collaboration. And so ever since then, that seed was like, it just kind of like grew into other people seeing the same thing. And I was just always called to it.
Wow. So hold on. So
Yeah.
they stopped you in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Just walking like, hey.
Just walking. Yeah. They seen something in me that I didn't even see in myself.
Wow. So what went from that moment there? Take us from that initial interaction. I'm sure y'all exchanged information and all that. That moment to like the very first opportunity or call, or what did that look like? How did that come about?
Yeah, the very first opportunity and call came from the same people. Cyndi was developing her brand and her craft, and she was using me. She was calling me, and I think through her, I got my first paid opportunity too.
Come on, Cyndi.
And so,
hey, look, shout out to Cyndi.
Man, shout out
Cyndi
to
Brown.
Cyndi.
Listen.
She's such a pillar. Like, seriously.
Hey, and she did my 23rd birthday photo shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, my 23rd birthday photo shoot. Hey.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing.
Shout out to Cyndi.
Yeah, so it was from there things started to really develop for me. And she was developing me as a model. Like, honestly, being in front of the camera, more and more, you start to get more confident and things of that nature. So that's how it started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think I saw years ago, I don't know if I was in Stonebriar Mall in Frisco at 316 Collection.
Oh my gosh,
And I think I saw you on a billboard. I'm pretty sure.
I was. And it's they're moved to the Galleria now. So I'm there now. But what's crazy is that shoot happened in 2019 and their store Billboard opened up in fall of 2023. So they
Wow.
were still using that same photo. So that photo from 2019 was being used in 2023. And seeing that on a billboard, man, the timing of when I found out of that billboard was so crazy too, because
Yeah.
it was right when I was going into Expo, when I was like really putting myself in like a new room to elevate my craft. And I found out that I was in the mall, and I was like, that's just God sending confirmation that I'm on the right path and that he's doing something amazing in this.
Wow. And I know oftentimes when folks see, glimmer of highlights, let's say call it social media,
Yeah.
or someone can see, maybe known you in high school, then see you in the future. Sometimes it feels like we kind of just popped out of nowhere is what some people might think.
Yeah.
Might think that we just got, lucky or got an opportunity and a chance that came out of nowhere, and then we didn't have to do anything for
Man.
it. You mentioned the Expo process earlier, going from being spotted in a parking lot
Right.
to getting an opportunity with a major clothing brand. Probably, honestly, arguably one of the number one faith-based clothing lines globally.
Yes,
right?
shout out 316 Collection.
Yeah,
Faith-based.
316. Yeah, shout out to Jalen. And so, what kind of behind the scenes process that no one really may not know about
Wow.
have you had to navigate to go from, even when you thought like, okay, could this be a thing? Walk us through what was happening behind the scenes.
Yeah. So like I said, like with modeling, I was always called to it. I didn't really see it as a gift to steward until I got more mature, until I reached a point in my life where I was like, okay, I needed change. Like I was dealing with some friction within like my purpose and like what that actually looked like. And that's when God really started to reveal to me, this is something that I've already given you. Like you already have what you're searching outside of yourself for. And so with that calling, like ever since, I started modeling with Cyndi, building my portfolio naturally, not working with a whole lot of photographers, but just working with quality. Because I'm not like, Cyndi really set the tone. She really set the tone.
It's hard to go back from
It's hard to go
shooting with
back.
her.
And people know that too. And like you could, it was something that I was aware of too, of the quality that, I've shot with before. You kind of like, okay, no, that's not really fitting with, my brand or my aesthetic. So I'm not going to go that route. So I didn't really work with a lot of people. I just worked with very few quality people.
Right. Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. And so with that being the start of my portfolio, it kind of set the tone. And my portfolio just started building, and photographers would reach out, or like, I would, other brands would reach out to work with me and stuff like that. But it was just kind of like here and there.
Wow.
It was never like something that was just like consistently, because I wasn't doing my part. There was a responsibility that I needed to do to take it to another level. So it was just, I feel like that was God's grace over, my calling too. It's like continuing to show me, give me hints, show me until I was like, okay, God, you have my attention.
And what were some of those hints that kind of came about, whether it's moments, family, what were some of those hints?
Just my work and people, loving my work and being inspired by it. And, me kind of just taking it really lightly and casually, when other people would take it like, girl, like, this is amazing what you're doing. Like, your work is really dope. And I was just like, it's just something I do. And so it wasn't until I reached a point in my life where I needed change. And I was like, I want to get to another level. And, it was a breaking point for me, because I felt like I had lost everything in this season of my life. Like, I feel like God was rewriting everything of what I thought my future was going to look like.
Wow.
And so it took that breaking point for me to turn inward and turn to God to say, okay, what is my life supposed to be like? Like, okay, what do I need to do to actualize my potential and really work the purpose that you've given me? And I had a plan and everything. So I knew one thing I knew, because this is when I became a knowledge, seeker. Like, I was really seeking him, but I was also seeking like how to be successful, like feeding myself like great podcasts, listening to like Tony Gaskins, RC Blake's, like really just pouring into me and really getting a new level of understanding of life in general.
Taking your process seriously.
Yeah, taking the process seriously, taking my life seriously. That's where the key was. And so I began to pivot into looking at, okay, what do I have? What can I do? How do I get myself in a different environment? Because I knew that putting myself in a different room was going to change everything. And learning something that I haven't learned before was going to change everything. And so that's when I had seen the Expo opportunity, but I also was looking at going to cosmetology school, like to become an esthetician and build my own salon and like serve and do that, like have a whole brand. Like I wrote it down from beginning to end.
Wow. So what was that tension like where, I mean, are we talking like senior year of high school time frame?
No,
like what time is this?
This was, so I graduated 2017. This was 2022.
Okay.
Because I had success in modeling. Like, you know, I had the 316 and worked with big brands. You know, I had some success. But I became stagnant in that, like, because I feel like I wasn't breaking past a new threshold of like success. Like, okay, cool. It's here and there, but like, what am I doing with it? So I'm just grateful that modeling was always pursuing me, but I was never pursuing it, right? And so when I got this revelation of, you know, the Expo and these different opportunities, I remember bringing it to God. And it's like, okay, God, I have two ways I can go. I can go to esthetician school, you know, get my license, open up this salon, teach others, and then, or I can go to Expo and do something with modeling.
Right.
Right. And he told me, I remember he didn't tell me one or the other. He said, do what's in front of you. I heard that very clearly. Right. And the Expo was in front of me. And I remember that hearing also in this that you never know where he's going to reroute back that dream, reroute back, you know, this vision that you have. Because think about, like, he'll give me visions, but like they're so far like ahead, or I can't really see the plans of the process. But so yeah, I did the Expo.
Okay. And
I went in with the mindset of I just want to become. It's not really like, because, you know, the Expo, the outcome is you get signed, you get placed, you get booked, you get money, right? But for me, I wasn't really going to Expo for the attachment of the outcome, for a specific and desired outcome. Of course, I want to be great,
right.
But I was like, I want to change. Like, I want to develop. I want to become who God's created me to become something in what he's already given me.
Sounds like you were trying to go through like a more of a transformational process.
Exactly.
Than like just checking the box just to get to the next step.
Exactly.
And what happened, I think we were talking one time about this, and there was like a young lady, there was a whole story behind like the woman that was spotted you, or what was the background on the Expo and getting into the Expo? Because I think there was
so the Expo was opportunity. I was searching and found J3 Productions. Shout out to Willie. Shout out to J3. That's my community. And it was through this opportunity that I was able to link with J3 and become a part of this community where we would go through the Expo. There was workshops leading up to the Expo. And in these workshops, you're acting, you're reading a cold read, you're reading a monologue, you're doing acting classes, and you're also doing runway workshops. Like you're being equipped to go through this big convention so you can be scouted and seen by bigger agencies to represent you. So
dope. Now, some people may not be aware of like the work ethic, the discipline, the reps, the amount of hours one has to put in going through like an Expo process. Talk to us about what that was like, just the grind of the process before you got to clearly the very end and what came out of it.
Wow, yeah.
But yeah, what was the process like?
Well, first and foremost, you have to be ready to invest. You have to be ready to invest into you. And I remember like a year prior, before going into Expo, I had seen the opportunity, but I backed out of it. I had went all the way through the callbacks and the audition process, and it was time to pay, right? And I was all like,
she said, who gonna pay for it?
I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna, now's not my time. And so
y'all got layaway.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, but I wasn't, I didn't have the revelation of like, I'm worth this investment. My dreams are worth this investment. You know, I'm worth it.
Right.
Because I had never invested in myself that much before. And it was scary. It was really scary. But circling back another year later, I was like, I'm not going to let anything get in my way. I'm not going to let anything stop me, not even doubt, not even my resources, whatever it's looking like. I'm going to go and I'm going to do it. And so I did it.
Yes.
I did it.
Yes.
And man, the blessing that came about, it wasn't instant.
Okay.
Because some people, you think you invest and you think you're going to get it right back. It wasn't instant. It wasn't even tangible of the blessing wasn't even tangible of what I got back. What I got back was more purpose. What I got back was community. What I got back was more opportunities.
Yeah.
Like that was what came out of it too. So I was ready to invest and I didn't let nothing stop me. And showing up, not making any excuses for yourself.
Being present,
taking it seriously. I was like, I'm investing this money. I'm going to show up to every workshop.
Absolutely.
I'm taking this very seriously. I may be nervous. I may be scared. I may be, but I'm going to continue to do it. And so just one foot in front of the other, still showing up, still taking yourself seriously, taking the craft seriously. I think that breeds something in you as far as like what is needed to continue out this journey, because that actually never stops.
You're absolutely right. And I think you mentioned like there was not immediate results or immediate success. And at times where we can impose our timeline on these kind of perceived outcomes we think we should have. And sometimes we trick ourselves into thinking I can work myself to deserving to get something. It's almost like a prideful assumption to think I'm going to take 1 and 2, 3 steps. I'm going to do 1 and 2, 3 things. And this is going to be the outcome I get because I worked my tail off. Right. It's not to dismiss the work that was placed and the sacrifices, but there's a lot of folks out there who can get very distracted and also just discouraged.
Yeah.
Because what they thought should happen did not happen.
Exactly.
And because it didn't happen, they disqualify and cancel out their own future, the next opportunity, right? So how did you navigate potentially maybe seeing, I don't know, other peers or like, what was it like at the end of the expo? Like, okay, I bet I went through it. Like, let's go.
Right.
How did you navigate that tension?
Honestly, I think since I was so like, since the journey itself was so personal to me as far as like just becoming and transforming, I wasn't looking at others' success and their timeline and comparing it to mine. I was like, my time is going to come. What's for me is for me. Because I feel like with my portfolio and like just like my journey in modeling itself, there's been like this quiet confidence because I know it's always just been God. Like, I know it's always been him because I was never pursuing it. I never dreamed of it. I never dreamed to be this model and to be this actress. Like, God has called me to these spaces. So with my awareness in that, I feel like with him, putting him first has always kept me on a grounded level.
Right.
So navigating that wasn't tough for me. It wasn't tough. I would say this year has been tough. Now 2 years later has been tough now that I'm navigating the spaces of being a signed actress, booking, and then going into a season where you're not booking. Like it's a new space. Wow. But that's been the most tough for me.
And that's a great transition there, getting into, from the modeling, how that teed up into film. Talk about some of the work or brands that you've been able to work with over the last, couple of years when you went from modeling into film. So yeah, talk about some of the brands you worked with, and then what was that transition like? Yes.
So, I actually, while I was doing my workshops, Willie, the owner and mother agent of J3 Productions, he was submitting his roster of models to his clients. And so I was actually making some of my money back before I even went to Expo. So I was being booked just based off my portfolio that I already built by brands that were his clients, like Sacred Heart and HBCU Collegiate line. Like, they're amazing, beautiful line. I booked them and I'm on their storefront now. They're in Dallas too. Years later, they're opening their store and using my pictures. So there's this kind of repetition or some kind of
it sounds like a little bit of rhythm of reciprocity. Like, you invested Absolutely. And you start to receive on those returns.
Absolutely.
Even maybe before you even thought you would.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Modeling still being worked. Acting, that was a new thing.
Yeah.
That was a new thing. I was such a baby. I'm still a baby in acting. And
Hey,
film.
look, ain't nothing wrong.
But Expo definitely was like a seed. Because acting was one of those requirements to go through Expo, to get up there. You have to do a cold read, you have to do a monologue, and you have to audition. And that was so new for me because I'd never done anything like that.
So take us to your first, drop us in, like, this is a movie scene right now.
Okay.
It's like the autobiography, right, of Mashayla, right, in the beginnings of acting, right? Right, you already got the Oscars, you did all the 20 years from now, all the things, you had all the accolades. Take us to, like, paint the scene of the very first audition. How'd you prepare? How'd you feel? And what were the results of the audition, right?
Oh my gosh.
Take us through. Take us there.
My very first audition was actually an in-person audition. And man, can I remember what it was for? I think it was for like an independent film, like series, like it wasn't a romantic comedy. It might have been a drama. And I can't remember. I just remember how I felt in the process.
Yeah, in the process. I mean, even like how it came about, like if it was like, if there was an agent involved or not, and how it got on your radar. And then just when you found out you were going to be auditioning for it, like, oh, this is real. Yeah.
I think this first one was from my manager, Willie. He had sent out the mass email saying, hey, there's this opportunity, in-person auditions for this role, show up, right? So I remember getting the audition and getting the script, and I didn't really prepare. I was like, okay, read over a script. I didn't really work it how I know now. Like, oh, if only you knew what you knew when you knew, or when you had to know, right?
Right.
But I remember feeling so nervous. Oh my gosh, my hands were like sweating. I had my friend with me, and they were like encouraging me. They're like, you got this, right? So I go in, and there's people at a table, and I do the audition. And I would just remember walking out like, I totally messed that up.
Oh no.
Like, I remembered my lines, but I didn't deliver the way that, you could have. I knew I could have if I knew more. But I think those are the building blocks. You have to get out there. You have to
listen. Anyone's first of anything. You take any person who has been great at anything. The very first of it, rough.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like, I mean, I was watching an episode of Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. Shameless plug. If y'all haven't seen that episode, you should go watch it. I was selected out of like 6 million people, at random 6.5 million people, to have a conversation with him. Yeah, it was crazy. Wow. We were on Zoom. The call was supposed to be 10 minutes. It ended up being 24 minutes. Crazy stuff. I was watching an episode of his, and he talked about his very first podcast that he created. He set up a little camera, a little recorder, and then was just talking through things. And he's like, it was awful.
Wow.
It was awful. And anybody who's done something in the very beginnings, you always see that progression and where you grow from. But it's called humble beginnings for a reason. You building character.
Man.
You building character.
You building character.
So jump into like a present day. Walk us through what preparation looks like for an audition. And what would you say your current like audition load looks like?
Oh, it's gotten really busy.